am the new Director of Education here at the County Home, for those who I haven't met. I wanted to just start off and tell you that I do have some experience with customer service presentations. A couple years back, I was asked to do a big customer service presentation for a big corporation, local corporation. And they actually would take their new staff after 6 months of employment, take them out of their environment, and do a full day's training of customer service. We are kicking off customer service training with a 1-hour mandated presentation. And I kind of took a different approach with this presentation. We have more chairs over here if you'd like to sit down. And I hope everybody leaves here impacted by at least one of the points that I'm trying to relay to you. Everybody has a different perception of customer service, but we've all been impacted by poor customer service, by good customer service. And we have different ways of evaluating. Customer service is big. Big. It's what pays our paychecks, you know, makes us have a job. You know, it's really important for repeat business. And healthcare is, you know, a business as well. But we're going to just talk about a different take on customer service. But before I begin, I want to talk about housekeeping. There are 2 sign-in sheets going around, and if you're wondering why you have 2 sign-in sheets, one's a tracking form, one's an attendance record for our in-service binder. And then I do have yellow Post-it tabs. Please take one, put your name on it. We're going to do a nice drawing at the end in appreciation of your time and efforts to come here today. I know you're all busy, so I'm going to try to be as efficient and within the hour as close as possible, but it will take a full hour. Questions and comments are very welcome at the end of the training. I will stay behind and talk to you individually if you would like to discuss something, comment about something, vent. And restrooms are located across the hall. If you need to use restroom, feel free. If you have cell phones, please make sure they're on silent. This slide represents the textbook definition of customer service, which simply is the assistance and advice provided by a company to those people who buy or use the products or services that they try to sell. We all evaluate customer service differently, but we are paying for a service and we expect to be served well. I think about when I go to a restaurant and I'm being served by a waitress. How I evaluate effective, good customer service and how I'm going to rate how much tip I'm going to get is if my coffee cup is filled up before I have to ask for it. Or if I get my napkins before I have to ask. If she notices things, comes back and checks on me, is attentive. A lot of times she might just come and I'm like, I'm good, thank you. But just knowing that that's there. Sometimes you get to a restaurant and you can tell when a waitress is overwhelmed. There's not enough staff. And I kind of, you know, be a little observant and kind of give a little consideration to that. So that's how I evaluate customer service when I go to a restaurant. And there's times I'll walk, there's a chair over here if you'd like. You know, sometimes if I have poor customer service, even though the food was really good, I might not go back for a long time, and how that impacts me if I'm a return customer. I also want to share a personal experience, and before I do that, I want to say everyone here represents different departments and different positions. This presentation is for every department and every position. It's not just nursing, and we all have a piece of the puzzle. But my personal story is, my parents passed away very young. And my father had 4 nursing home admissions before he passed away. And it was for rehab. My mother died of a chronic illness and I kept her at home. My mother passed away before my father, and we really were conflicted. Did we want to put her in a nursing home? And, you know, I was more guilt-ridden than my brother, and we kind of had conflict. But when it came to my father, it was a different take on it, because we knew he was going to come home. He went to a local nursing home. I'm not going to mention which nursing home he went to, but he had the most horrific experience there. And my father used to be the president of the Beaver Club in Fredonia. And the reason he went to this nursing home is because he had said, oh, you'll be fine at this other nursing home. And so he went to the first nursing home, had a terrible, terrible experience, and now it came time for a second admission to a nursing home. And we, I am proud to say, came to the county home. And we had choices. Lutheran, Heritage, the Time Lake Shore. I mean, there's choices out there. He felt it was like night and day. He loved it here. Not that he wanted to be here and that he loved being in a nursing home, but when it came time for that third nursing home admission, he's like, I'm going back there. And then the fourth one, I'm going back there. No, hands down. That speaks volumes. Volumes. And that's really important. That's what we want. And I guarantee my dad went back to that Beaver Club, local community club, and shared his experiences. It was probably pretty vocal about it. And that's, you know, the essence of customer service. Word of mouth. People have their individual opinions. So who's our customer? The resident's family, and we're each other's customer when you really think about it. And so the goals of this presentation are simply this. We want to improve the lives of those we touch. Improve the lives of those we touch. Develop a connection. We're going to talk about connecting with people between all team members, which essentially is our work family, residents family, colleagues, community. Improve the staff morale. Empower participants to provide effective solutions to diffuse and minimize complaints. Adapt a consistent and professional style when speaking with residents, family, and coworkers. And identify ways to add value to customer relationships and exceed expectations. So I have some key words here we're going to talk about throughout the presentation. The first one is integrity. Now, some of you may know what that word means, have a textbook definition. Some may have your own opinion. But years ago when I worked here back in the 90s, Karen Zobel was my supervisor. Anybody remember Karen Zobel? And she was teaching me how to do evaluations. She says, before you even start filling out the evaluation, I want you to think about one's integrity. And I'm like, well, I don't even know what that word means. And she put it that integrity means doing the right thing when no one's watching. Doing the right thing when no one's watching. It's very easy to do the right thing when you're being audited, when you're being supervised, when you're being monitored, when the surveyors are here. We all try to do the right thing. But doing the right thing when no one's watching, and we all have very independent positions. We all have supervisors, but we truly have independent positions. You don't have someone by you every step of the way monitoring what you do, so you have to take ownership of it. So we have to have integrity. We have to be accountable, and a lot of people feel that accountability is just admin's responsibility, allowing their staff to do what they do, not holding them accountable. If you want to grab a chair, there's chairs across the way. We have to have individual accountability, and we have to hold each other accountable. It's all in your approach. Truly it is. We have to have fun on the job. I know a lot of us have fun on the job, bring things different to each department. I talk about the rehab department. You walk into that room and you do sense enjoyment, fun that they bring, and it affects the residents and the other staff members. You know, we all do a little something, but we really need to have fun on the job. It's tough. Again, we spend more time with our work family than we do our own family. We have to be loyal. And where this comes into play, one way, is talking bad about the company. Posting on Facebook dissatisfaction or complaints. Number one, that's against the rules. Number two, just think about if a family member were to see that, how they would feel. Is my family member okay? Are they safe? Are they okay to take care of? You know, my loved one? Be loyal to each other. I'm not saying cover for each other. I mean, I want you to cover and pick up when sometimes you're having an off day or when we're short-staffed, but I mean not in the bad way. Don't cover for each other. But we want to be loyal. We want to show respect. And this is a category where what matters most to the family is that their loved ones are being treated with respect. And we also want to respect each other. And then finally, we'll have quality care. So how to improve the lives of those we touch? We all have the power to do this. And I want to just highlight the admission process and think and just put a little thought into that. And I want to ask, how many people here are new? Raise your hands if you're new. Okay. All right. A couple people. It's really important to engage and welcome our new staff. It truly is. I could tell you a story back in the 90s. Again, I'm really dating myself. Right out of LPN school. I think I sat in my car at Brooks Hospital and I cried. I truly cried because I was so scared going up to that unit. I was working step down ICU, cardiac floor, 2B. I was working 11 to 7, 19 or 20 years old. And I remember I walked in and the halls were dark because they turned the lights down at night. And I'd walk to that unit and there sat 3 women in white. Kash Kapuscinski, she was a Russian nurse that came here to the United States, and because her license didn't transfer, she worked as a CNA. And then there was Diane Ziegler, she was a supervisor, and then there was Mary Parker, who was the LPN. And I walked up to the unit, I was really scared. Just think back to your first day. You might have been excited, but you probably had an element of fear. So I walked up there. I tell you, these women took me under their wing, and I think the minute I went there and introduced myself, all because of the way they welcomed me, all my fear, and I felt, whoa, I'm going to learn a lot here. This is where I want to be, you know. And I just remember that moment as if it was yesterday. I knew I wanted to be like them because they knew their stuff. They did not have the attitude, oh, we got a young one coming here. It's going to take time to train her. She's not going to know anything, or she's going to be a know-it-all because she's right out of school. You know, they didn't have that attitude. They really embraced me. And in reality, by them taking me under their wing, they made me a productive part of the team, which in turn, in the end, made their job better and easier. So it was smart. It was kind and it was smart. So we want to welcome those that come to work here. We want to welcome the students that come to practice here to learn. It's very, very important. They'll remember it. And think back. Sometimes we lose sight 'cause we have a lot of experience in this room, and you forget about those first days. And then have the same idea with the residents. when they come here to reside, most people don't choose to come here as far as this is where they want to end their lives, or this is not something that they plan. You know, it's, oh, I'm going to grow up and go be in a nursing home, you know. It's not. So I think about it in terms of this, and I know we are not a hotel. Not even close to a hotel. But this is a place to reside, and sometimes I go and reside at a hotel. And I think about, when I go to a hotel, I look for a budget hotel that includes a complimentary breakfast. But if I were to stay at an expensive hotel, I would probably have different expectations of how I'm going to be treated, what I'm going to sense, what the customer service is going to be like. The average nursing home stay, regardless of who the payee is $400 a day. $400 a day. Now I think if I found a hotel for $400 a night, what would that be like to stay? I'd walk in, I'd probably have these beautiful sights, I'd be greeted, and I'd want to explore. I'd want to know about that facility. I'd want to know what those amenities are. Now our residents are ill, you know, but they still have those same types of needs. So think about our admission process. Think about how you're greeted at a 5-star hotel, or, you know, the customer service that you would expect to receive. And what our residents are coming to. And it's not because we don't care, and it's not because we don't want to do good, but we are simply overtasked. So when I say this training's for every department, every position, think about it. I'm bringing my father into the nursing home. We go to the unit, and maybe we have to wait to go to the room. Nobody's around, maybe, because we're all busy, and that could happen. But maybe a housekeeper walks by, or maybe someone from laundry, or maybe someone from maintenance, or from food services, you know, any department. All departments here. Go up, extend your hand, introduce yourself. You're just as part of this family as everybody else. Say, you know, this is my name. Anything I can ever do for you, just let me know. And as soon as I see someone, I'll introduce you. Or maybe another resident's there. You can introduce them to the other resident, because they're going to want to know what's going on. Take ownership of it. Now, I'm never saying do the job that you're not supposed to do. I'm saying about a human connection. We can all have it, no matter whether you're a care position or not. Connecting with people. So we want to welcome people. We want to extend our hand and give a confident handshake to new residents and new staff members. I tell my new CNAs, especially when they're going to go off to the floor and transition, I'm not going to be with them. Sometimes I don't even know which unit they're going to be going to. I tell them, you know, they're going to be busy. You may receive a very warm welcome, and they might not even know you're coming. But the communication's there. And I said, you might have to take the first step. You might have to say, you know, I'm Mary Jo, and I'm here. Today's my first day. I'm going to be a unit assistant on your floor. Extend your hand out and shake someone's hand. I know you might be busy, but whatever I can do to help, I'm here to learn. You know, you might have to take that first step. That's okay. It happens. Talked about taking staff under our wings. Express positive energy and be the reason someone smiles for the day. Provide social contact and appropriate touch. There were people out there that were under the impression if you weren't a nursing department employee that you could not touch the residents. That is not true. We all need human touch. Now, I'm not saying inappropriate touch. I'm saying appropriate touch. We can, you know, just a hand on an arm or a shoulder when you're talking to someone. Connect. Very, very important. Compliment each other. Look at something you can compliment on. and honor the spirit within, the non-physical part of a person that is the seat of emotion and character of the soul. So connection, I've been talking about this connection. And in my research, which is a little different take on the other customer services that I've presented, presentations that I've presented, I discovered a wonderful, wonderful person. Her name is Dr. Brené Brown. She's an accomplished, award-winning author of 3 books, and she is a researcher storyteller. And she talks about building rapport with each other, connecting with each other, making yourself vulnerable. And when we're talking about vulnerability, I'm sure the first thing you're thinking, I don't want to make myself vulnerable. That means I'm weak. It's actually the opposite. It's putting yourself out there. Making yourself exposed. Taking a risk. Doing the right thing maybe when someone else at work doesn't do the right thing. Maybe it's the first date after a divorce. Maybe it's a feeling of sitting with your spouse that has stage 4 cancer, planning the care of your children after they're gone. Putting yourself out there. So, connection in Dr. Breen's words is the energy that exists between people when they feel seen, heard, and valued. When they give and receive without judgment. And when they derive sustenance, which means of support or maintenance, and strength from the relationship. We all have this power. So we want to develop a connection between everyone. And I'm telling you, there's a lot of good connections here. I could say I feel I have some good connections with people, and then there's some people I know that I need to work on. You know, if the same thing. So I'm not saying it's all, but we want to focus on, exceeding expectations, pushing ourselves a little bit, and making those connections. It's directly going to reflect customer service, morale. So improvement of staff morale. Inspire positivity through positivity. Inspire positivity through positivity. What does that mean? Well, just like negativity, positivity is contagious. Have you ever been around someone that's just negative Nelly? Yeah. And sometimes you're like, I gotta get away from this.
I'm not negative Nelly.
Good. So the best way to encourage positive attitudes throughout the company is to carry a positive attitude yourself, which is not always easy to do. Positive mentalities are just like negative mentalities. They are contagious and compounding. The other night I had an interaction, and I don't want to say any names, but you're going to probably figure out what I'm talking about. But I was in my basement, which I love. I want more people to come down there. But it is cinder blocks. There's no window, so I lost track of time. And I really wanted to be somewhere by 5 o'clock, and before I knew it, it was 5:38, so I wasn't going to be able to do it. I was not happy. So I'm ready to leave, pack up my stuff real fast, and I go to leave, and I stop to say goodbye to someone who was working. And she started to share with me what a bad day she was having. And I just wanted to get out the door. I just wanted to get out the door. And all of a sudden, a group of family members came in. No, it was just the 2 of us at first. Group of family. And she turned it around. The next thing I know, all of a sudden, she's positive, she's bubbly, she's welcoming these families. Now, it may not seem important to you, but I saw these family members walking into this facility, and I'm thinking, they're not happy. They probably are filled with guilt that their loved one's here, or worried about their loved one. I don't know what their situation is, but they looked stressed. But because of her interaction in greeting these people, they smiled. And they went in there, and I could see their demeanor change as they walked in. I'm watching this. So I stood there, and I'm like, I just have to tell you, I just admired what happened. I'm like, it is amazing how positive and bubbly you are, and how you just impacted them. You did a great job. Well, she puts her shoulders back, and she smiles, and she goes, thank you. You made my day. Now that may seem very trivial to you, but probably the old me, when I wasn't looking at all this stuff with fresh eyes, and that's what I'm empowering you guys to do, is to look at this with fresh eyes, because a lot of this is common sense, but we get so task-oriented. When she started to complain about things, I could have been like, yep, I'm late. I meant to leave at 4, and I was down in the basement. Now I can't do that, and blah, 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 blah. I could have just like fed right into it. But I was able to turn it around. So it does work. I've been practicing. So upcoming events the company's doing, we're going to have a team building week. It's going to be important. I'm going to tell you why. Because it's going to involve all team members, and it's going to involve intermingling of the departments. So it's not going to be department specific. And that's a real way to build rapport and get connected with people, see people in a different light, which is going to help facilitate everything that we're trying to accomplish. We do have a STARS program that helps with staff morale. And Dennis, who's here, is our recent recipient in November, generated by the resident council. That is a big accomplishment. But we need to share more appreciations amongst ourselves. You see someone do something good, just acknowledge it. It goes a long way. Employee suggestion survey. You may have seen this box. You may have heard people talk about it. Colleen Hart, our new administrator, is committed to read every single one of these papers. There's forms on the table. It will be kept at the reception desk as well. People have asked for this. You now have the floor. Do not be afraid. It's anonymous, or you can put your name down. This is the time to be heard. We are also doing a customer satisfaction survey, corporate-wide. All our residents and residents' families will be getting a survey now about their customer service. Diffuse and minimize common complaints. Some of these complaints, some of you are going to be like, yeah, I heard that. Now, this is what residents and family members have complained about, community has complained about, and I'm going to add one more. But constantly people say we're short-staffed, and we are. Bottom line is, it takes a long time to get good human care. I will tell you this. We have recruitment bonuses out there for those who don't know. If you are referring people to come and work here, good people, and they put your name on the application, after 6 months of employment, you will get a bonus. They continuously work with outside schools. It's a win-win situation. They get the training, and then we get the opportunity, and maybe they'll want to work with us when they complete. They also have a little luncheon, like after the LPN program and the RN program, to recruit. They market it. They encourage people to continue their education and have tuition reimbursement bonuses that are very individualized and a very good deal for those who are thinking about going on. So they're doing things. They really are. It's not because they're not trying, and it's not because they don't want to spend the money. It's actually more expensive to work with short staff and paying overtime than it is to have your staff. It's because we have a national healthcare shortage, and it's a tough job, and we're like in this vicious circle. Mm-hmm. You get under short-staffed, and people are working too much and working doubles and getting burnt out and then getting frustrated out of a job, and it's easier to go work at McDonald's when you don't have to deal with this. It's a tough job. It's the reality of it. I don't know. Family members will walk up to someone and someone will say, I don't know. That's okay, you don't know. You don't want to let people know that you don't know. Like that. It's just bad. And you may not know. No one person knows everything. But would you ever tell a state surveyor that you don't know something? We all know not to do that, right? We don't do that with our residents' family. It's, good point. I'm going to go seek out that information for you. You have an issue at hand. You need to follow up on it and do something about it. Now, someone may come to you that you truly can't take care of it, but you get them to the person that can. That's the key. That's not my resident. So people don't even want to hear if there's an issue because it's not their resident. I'm only here on weekends. The other shift did not take care of it. Not my problem. I wasn't here. I'm new and I don't know anything, and that's not my department. I don't know. Those are common complaints. And another one is staff members and at the resident council. It's just been mentioned that a lot of personal business is being shared around the residents. Family members shouldn't know about domestic issues. My daughter's pregnant and not married, and I don't have the bills to pay, or the money to pay my bills, stuff like that. We want to connect with people, but in common things, and that's kind of, that is unprofessional. So, we want to do a self-check there. So, some effective solutions, comments I can make about these complaints. We're going to work short-staffed. We're putting all the efforts out there to improve staff. It's not going to change overnight, and it's hard. It's not good. But when you have a situation like this, how you deal with it is truly either going to make the situation better or compound the situation. And it's a matter of perception, and we're here to provide a service. You have to work together, come together, communicate, and think about the non-negotiables. What are the non-negotiables that I have to do? And the big thing is safety and answering those call bells. And I know you don't want to hear about the call bells. It's everyone's responsibility. Nobody should walk by a alarmed call bell. No one really should. I'm not saying you have to go in and toilet someone and take care of someone. That's not what I'm saying. But you should pop your head in there and make sure it's not a life-threatening situation. Believe it or not, people do understand. They understand that there may not be, there might be something else going on that you can't be taken care of right away. It's not being acknowledged and waiting is the problem. Years ago, I was a supervisor of a nursing home, and it was working 11 to 7 again. Seems like I always was working 11 to 7. And I had to infuse platelets, bag of blood, platelets. And I was getting the report at change of shift. The person was waiting in the waiting room. They were going to have their blood infused, and they were going home. Done deal, I go down to the lab to get my blood. And the phlebotomist hands me the blood like this. And she's like, guard this with your life. And I'm like, why? What? What's different? She goes, it's a bag of platelets. She goes, it's $3,000. So I'm thinking to myself, I've never infused platelets. So I'm like, I gotta be safe. I can kill someone if I don't do it right. Truly, I could. So I went to every single nurse in the hospital, and there wasn't a lot of nurses there, but I remember going to obstetrics, I remember going down to the ER. I'm trying to ask people, how do I infuse this bag of platelets. Do I need a special filter? What do I do? Different rate? Nobody knew. Call the supervisor. She didn't know. First I went to the policy and procedure manual. There was no policy and procedure on it. The person's waiting in the lobby, in the waiting room. All I kept doing is going back and checking on them. I'm going to be honest. I did not go to them and be like, oh my God, they gave me this to do and I don't know how to do it. I don't know what I'm doing and you're going to have to wait and we have no staff here and nobody's answering my phone calls. I didn't do that. I truly didn't. I went to this gentleman and I said, I want you to know I'm preparing for your service. There's a TV here. Would you like to watch TV? Are you comfortable? I want to make sure you're comfortable. I know there's a wait. Would you like a cup of coffee? I was just, it's going to be a few more minutes. I think he waited like 45 minutes. I finally got my answer and I was able to infuse it right. In and out. It was off. But, not that I couldn't do anything. My hands were tied. And he still had to wait. But it made the situation better. I could have really compounded that situation. And made myself look bad, made the hospital look bad. So we need to think about what our non-negotiables are. We need to be safe. We need to be proactive, anticipate needs. And a lot of us already do this. I think we just need to be aware of the communication with the residents' family members and the residents themselves. Check in with them. Pop your head. I didn't forget about you. I know you're important. I know you're waiting. I will be with you as soon as possible. Sometimes you're almost embarrassed to do that because they are waiting so long, but it will make it better. When you're unsure of what to do, seek out someone that can give you the answer. And this is where connecting with people and making people feel welcome. Sometimes that person may not have the answer and they could direct you to the right person or the right resource. If you don't know, direct them to a person that you do know and follow up so you learn. And when it comes up again, you have that answer. If you're not officially assigned to the resident, we have to walk away with the mentality that every resident is every staff member's responsibility. Every resident is every staff member's responsibility. We have different job roles, but we can't not pay attention to a problem. We have to take ownership of it. And by means of ownership, I mean getting the person that can help that person. Weekend Warriors, that's a great program, provides a great opportunity for both the facility and the staff. They need to be in the know of what goes on during the week or what's going on at all times. Being just here on the weekends is not a reason not to be able to give answers to people. And again, you may not know the answer because you weren't exposed to it. You haven't had to deal with it, but find out the answer for them or send them to a resource so they have the answer. Change of shift and leftover responsibilities. Well, I got a good example for this one. This is a true example. Years ago, 2B, before this was all renovated, I was working 11 to 7, and back then, I'm not sure if we still have this, but I know we have splints for our residents, but we had a splint rotation where you put the splints on for 2 hours, take them off for 2 hours, and it would start at 10 o'clock at night. I worked 11 to 7. So I remember I'm doing my G-tubes and doing my thing, and here comes my supervisor, Beverly Fisk, on the floor around 11:30, and I'm thinking, oh, what is she doing, you know? She comes back, and she's like, Mary Jo, we have a problem. I'm like, okay, what about? And she goes, you have 4 people that are assigned splints, and not one of them have them on. Apparently there was a problem with this. People weren't applying splints. So I'm like, well, what am I supposed to do? I wasn't even here at 10 o'clock, and, you know, that was the other shift's responsibility. And she's like, well, what time did you start? And I'm like, 11 o'clock. And she goes, do you take ownership of this unit and all these residents at 11 o'clock? And I said, yes. And she goes, does the care plan read that they should have splints on? And do they have a schedule? And I said, yes. And I says, are you following the care plan? And I'm like, well, I guess not. You know, I mean, honest, right? Not. Splints aren't on. I'm like, Bob, what do I do? She goes, you get your report, right? I says, yeah. And she goes, where do you get it? She goes, I go to the nurse's station, stand there, drink my coffee, get my report. She goes, do a walk-in report. Oh, that's too much to ask, you know. Oh, I'm like, okay, I'm going to try. So the first time, go to, you know, say, come on, let's do something. We're just going to walk the halls. I got to check a few things. Go with my person that I'm relieving. We check the first room that I know has a splint. The splint's not on. So I go, you know, let's go in and put it on together. Go in, put it on. The next person, we go, let's go put it in. Took some time, absolutely. Not lying, didn't like it. Second day comes in, same thing. Gotta put those darn splints on again together. Third day I go in, walk by, splints on. Second day, the second person, splints on. Third person, splints on. Oh my gosh, it went by so much faster. I was holding that person accountable. I did it in an approachable way. You know, think about like your heavy wetters that you know are not being checked and not being changed and not being cleaned. It happens everywhere. Every facility, it's not targeted against any one person, but it happens. Check that person. Hey, why don't we just clean that resident up before you leave so they're nice and dry and start the shift off well. Do that a couple times. People are going to change their ways. You could do it for any task, really. You're not going to be liked at first, but it will eventually lead into respect. We're not, you know, build that connection, build that rapport, do it in a way that it's not offensive. Now, when that first person that I went to that didn't have that splint on, I could have been like, you know, you got me in trouble and you're not doing your job. Why aren't you taking care of this on your shift? You know, I didn't report her. I didn't go and be like, oh, they did it again. I took care of it myself. I confronted that person in a positive way. A lot of people take confrontation as negative, but it doesn't have to be. Held them accountable. When you are new, know who your mentor or team leader is. Know people, their positions, and what they mean to you. Seek out a supervisor if needed. Follow the chain of command. And if it is another department's responsibility, you have to communicate to them what's going on. And just follow through with it. You know, hey, in passing, did you take care of what we talked about? You know, just maybe they forgot, need a friendly reminder. So what matters? What matters to family and what matters to employees? And this information was gathered through research and by going to the resident council and questioning some family members and community members. But they want competent staff. So think about, you know, how we are being perceived by others, especially when they don't have the answers and they don't understand. They want staff that care about the resident. They're looking at how care is provided, choices and preferences are met, management responsiveness, how nursing assistants provide care, if the resident is treated with respect, if there's an adequate number of staff, if the facility is safe. And again, about the connection and building rapport, professional relationships with staff. Now what matters to the employees a little bit different. It's really management based, I think, and supervision based. And I want to empower you guys. Sometimes you got to take control. I mean, and I don't mean that in any disrespect to any manager that's in this room. I don't mean any disrespect. But when I say take control, but own your position and know the value in it and how you can impact others and make a difference. This is a team approach. And I think we have very good managers and good intentions. Everybody has different positions. But if we take that ownership, you're going to see a shift. Now, I'm not saying, you know, be the boss. You be the boss of yourself. Be accountable. But they want to know that management cares, management listens, staff receive help with job stress, workplace is safe, supervisors care, supervisors show appreciation, and supervisor provides information. If you feel a lot of these things, I'm telling you right now, you're going to have to confront the situation. Any supervisor that you have, I've been a former supervisor manager of a lot of staff. I would want to know if someone felt that they weren't getting what they needed from me. And I believe the people we have here, good intentions, and they feel the same. Now it's in how you approach them. How to develop a consistent and professional style with interacting with residents, family, and coworkers. We talked a lot about the admission process when people come on board. It takes just 1/10 of a second to judge someone and make a first impression. We want to think about our body language. If we roll our eyes. I've rolled my eyes a couple times. I did not intend to. Got to put myself in check. Slumped posture demonstrates lack of confidence. If you cross your arms, you don't seem open to things. You got to watch your tone. That's when the confronting comes into place. The tone. I'm sure all of you at some point were spoken in a tone that you were like, whoa, you're attacking me. And whatever that person might be saying to you, they can be 100% right, but you're not hearing it because you're reacting to the tone. It's so true. It's all an approach. Have eye contact and start a short conversation to build a rapport.
Can I add something to that?
Absolutely.
A lot of people don't take the time with body language to approach somebody properly when they stand over them or tower over them. And that gives you, that puts your patient automatically in
May I
a
have your attention,
position.
please?
Mm-hmm.
So if you get down on their level, get down on one knee, eye to eye, make yourself lower than your patient, I guarantee your day will be alive.
And the other thing is to stand at a V if you can when you talk. If you're right in someone's direct face, they feel like their personal space is being invaded. And that's the whole premise for those who don't know about sitting down when we're feeding residents. You want to be eye level, they're more comfortable and they're more apt to, have an appetite. Now we're going to go into the power of a smile. Gotta tell you, the power of a smile, right? A couple weeks ago, Noelle, I must have been on the floor. She goes, Mary Jo, you're not smiling. Oh, didn't even realize I wasn't smiling. And I was having a lot of headaches. And I think I got more wrinkles because I wasn't smiling. And stress. So I'm like, oh, okay. And I was so glad she said something. And she said it in a delightful way. I'm going to tell you. I didn't take it personal. I didn't think, who the heck do you think you're talking to? Don't tell me to smile. And it wasn't like that. It was a really good interaction. We got a good rapport going on. So, probably a couple days later, she sees me again and she goes, where's that smile? I'm like, oh my God. Sorry, I totally forgot. So I had been really practicing trying to smile more. And I'm going to tell you, honestly, I have not had to take as much Tylenol. And the reason is, it has health impact. We're going to talk about that. But the expression one wears on one face is far more important than the clothes one wears on one back. Dale Carnegie said that. But I found all these reasons why smiling is good for you. And I'm living it. And I'm not saying this is a cure-all. Stop any medication that you're taking. But I'm telling you, it's an anxiety reliever. It's a pain reliever. I think that's why I haven't had the headaches as much. Because actually, tense and being task-oriented and scowling actually does use muscles that kind of hurt. So I think it was associated with my headaches, you know. It decreases blood pressure. It helps with digestion problems, and it helps with blood sugar. So plus, it's contagious. It makes you look more relaxed, confident, and sincere.
If you're confident, you should smile.
When you don't look at, just smile. Like,
Well, don't do a fake smile. And you know, the research that I was looking at, they talked about a fake smile. It can't be
fake
a
smile
fake
do worse than a
smile.
frown.
Huh?
Fake smile worse than a frown.
I believe so. Yeah. Because you're not getting that perception that you want.
Sorry.
So, the essence of a customer service. How to add value to customer relations and exceed expectations. Do ordinary things extraordinarily well. Go beyond what is expected. Add value to every interaction. Be at your best with every customer. And discover ways to delight. Now, I have this little mascot here, the pickle. You may have heard the buzzword about what's your pickle. And this is where it comes from. And we're almost done. There's a motivational speaker. His name is Bill Farrell. He was an entrepreneur. Bill Farrell.
Oh,
you said pickle.
No, Bill Farrell.
Beer.
And he owned a restaurant. And it was a burger joint. And he had a customer that would go there about 2 to 3 times a week. He would order a burger, and he would ask for extra pickles. And he would always get his extra pickles. But one day, he had a new waitress. And the waitress said, I would gladly give you a side of pickles, but I'm going to charge you $1.75. He's like, oh, no, I come here all the time. Just talk to your manager. I just want an extra slice of pickle. So she came back and she says, I will give you a slice of pickle for 5 cents. So he went home. He wrote Bill Farrell a letter, the owner, and said, you know what, I'm not coming back to your restaurant. If this is the way you're going to treat your customers, I'm not returning that one little interaction. He luckily put his address. Bill Farrell wrote him, gave him a coupon, so please come back. Of course you can have a pickle. And that's where the what's your pickle concept came out. Now you might think, Mary Jo, what the heck does that have to do with us? Well, I'm going to tell you. It has a lot to do with us. It has a lot to do with everything we do, even outside of work. What is your pickle? That's the concept. I could tell you Deb Saunders, Sharon Kelly down on ground. Their pickle is crafting. Go down there and look at the beautiful Valentine decorations and see how that changes the spirit of that unit, how the family members, the residents enjoy that unit, and how beautiful it looks. And even come to work as an employee. That's their pickle. You know, Paige and Cassie, they just put up that beautiful fish tank in the lobby. Amy Grant was over there observing it, and come to find out, she is like a guru of fish tanks. And she's going to offer some ways to help keep the fish alive, because I guess we've lost some. It has to do with the heat and stuff.
Killing them all.
Yeah, huh?
You do have feed them.
I think they are. Dawn Berlin. How many people get into the Super Bowl raffles, the squares at the front desk? That's enjoyment of the residents' family, and the staff members. Think about what's your pickle. What do you bring? The extra little something.
I bring my smile.
There, perfect.
And the resident family like
Taking care of your customer the way you would take care of loved ones. And finally, end all interactions with, is there anything else I can do for you? And you're probably like, now stop, Mary Jo. You're asking way too much.
We only got a little bit of work to do. Sorry.
Right. You're gonna say, but I'm opening myself up and I'm already overtasked. And there's a potential that I might have to do more work. I guarantee if we connect with people, we build rapports. You're going to learn what they like. You're going to be proactive. You're going to know how to care for them. And people already do this. You know, people that work with the same residents, you know your residents. You know how they like things. Now, if you just add that question at the end, think about the response that you can get. You could almost be guaranteed they're going to be like, no, everything's great.
And then they'll ring.
Well, that's part of the job. But I'm saying you do a task. You do a task. Is there anything, you set them up. Say you're setting someone up for a meal. And you know that they like sugar in their coffee. You know they like their creamer. You know you have to cut their food. They might want jam on their toast. I don't know. You know their likes. Is there anything else I could do for you? Nope, I'm good. You know, you're going to feel good, like you did right by your resident. And they're going to feel like they received good customer service. So rapport, we've talked about rapport, a close, harmonious relationship in which the people or groups concerned understand each other's feelings or ideas and communicate well. You're going to do this by developing a connection or spark.
He's already on his page.
Develop commonality with it. And if and when conflict happens, and it will happen, choose not to react, not to become emotional. Feel it, interact with it, move through it, seek out the facts, find out what you can do to help or the right person that can solve the problem. Do not leave it unanswered. You see something that's not right or conflict, you have to address it. Accept someone's point of view. If there is some truth to it, it's okay to say, I'm sorry, you're right. It's hard to argue with someone that's agreeing with you. And follow with the chain of command. Did everybody sign a Post-it?
I need a Post-it.
Could you get this lady a Post-it, please?
I need a yellow one.
Before we close, this is a concept. If you write out the word discipline, and you think about dignity, infection control, safety, communication, independence, and privacy, which is the first 6 letters of the word discipline. Every interaction that you have a resident, if you take these concepts in mind, you know you're going to provide safe, quality care, whether you make a shortcut or not, which you have to do your job. And and no matter if the state's watching, a family member's watching, you're going to get good reviews. So in summary, see points with fresh eyes, take ownership, put yourself out there and experience the difference, build rapport, be aware of all communication, diffuse conflict, and create opportunities to impact others, and improve the lives of those we touch by finding your pickle. So, now what we're going to do to show appreciation in your time and effort of coming here, we're going to do a drawing for a $25 gift card to Tops. So if everybody can throw their name, their paper in this basket.
What are we doing?
Yeah, go ahead. Fold it.
Fold it?
Hold it.
I'm going to win. Positivity. Is that the other one? What other one?
The other one, is straight down this way.
I didn't see the other one.
Oh, I'm sorry, doll. I was gonna put my name on 4 of them.
Just put your name in.
You only get one.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm watching you.
No.
No, he's getting it.
I know, I'm weird.
Play around.
Honey,
There it is.
I was choking. Would you give me the honey?
All right, Miss Amanda's gonna pick.
I say, keep choking. Keep choking.
Take me.
Come on. I'm in the middle.
This is the first time legit.
All right, and the winner is. All right, congratulations.
Go, girls.
All right, everyone, thank you very much. Have a good day. Thank you. Chronos, you better stay. Chronos training.
You know what? I have to go do
Is that where it is, Bob?
That's
You like my new style, do you?
I had 3 today, 1 yesterday.
Is this mine?
That's your pickle?
Your coworker.
Can I have this pickle?
I think it's weird. I asked for it first. I'm in desperate need.
I need a pickle.
A dill pickle or sweet potato?
Whatever you want. Whatever floats your boat, honey. Whatever floats your boat.
Mary Jo, you better be offline.